I'm tired of being invalidated by no one but the people close to me, being told that my problems aren't anything big and that I'm being overdramatic, or going as far as to labeling me as the villain and taking no accountability for why I am the way I am towards them. For a while, I believed that maybe they were right. I'm young and dumb and don't know any better, but now I'm 21 years old and I realize how truly hurt I was by the experiences that I went through. That what I went through genuinely scarred me in some way, and I couldn't keep ignoring and bottling up these feelings. What made things worse is realizing how much I was lied to, being told I could go to them for anything and then being shot down when I really opened up. Just because the issue didn't feel like it was warranted being a problem, even though it bothered me severely. Just being lectured and told you're being over dramatic or to drop it because it'll blow over. And they always said it in such a pissy tone. I feel like no matter how I phrased things or spoke with these people, it was either I'm too angry or I'm over dramatic, and that you would just never see me eye to eye. And there were so many examples of this. My youngest memory was this fear I had of drowning. And at first, the person we'll call Ryan. Ryan is a very important figure in my life, and he was there for me since I was like very, very young. So like I know it's probably gonna come off like I'm really like hard dunking on this guy, but like he is a good person at heart. It's just the tension we have right now, especially with everything going on, it's been like really difficult. But besides the point, I was scared of drowning, and Ryan was there to comfort me for the first time. But the nightmares kept persisting, and after a third night of me kind of just being like, "Hey, I'm scared, and I can't control the thoughts," he kind of just grew tired of it and told me to stop bringing it up to him. And so I did. I wasn't afraid of drowning in that moment. I was afraid of being vulnerable towards him. The other instant I could recall is when he was in a pretty pissy mood from work for a week, and I just stood out of his way because I didn't want to smoke. Then he still finds a way to yell at me asking why I'm avoiding him. And I wanted to be the biggest sassy mouth and just say, hey, look in the damn mirror and figure out why. But I was weak back then, and I just apologized and just said, okay, whatever. I just wanted to de-escalate the situation because like I didn't want to smoke. Another memory I had was when I was having muscle cramps in my chest, and all I can remember was him being angry, asking if I was faking it, and I wanted to tell him to piss off and die. Like, oh my god, why are you like this every time I get sick or like I'm injured, and you just get so like pissed off, and I'm just, oh my god, it was infuriating. But none of those examples even come close to what really solidified my mindset into never telling these people what goes on in my life. And that was when I had a big crush for the first time back in gymnastics. Let's call this girl Sam. I kind of liked this girl for an admittedly long time, about a year or so. And my gym bros found out about it, and instead of clowning me, they actually locked the hell in and got me any opportunity I could to get with Sam. It was kind of crazy. I mean, these guys were always like, dude, they'd be finding any way to be busting balls, and it's just like, with the one time they hear I have a crush, I thought they were gonna like clown me, they're gonna make fun of me, and like, no, they like lock the hell in and be like, yo, dude, we'll get you this girl. Because I think it was always such an interesting topic of debate of who I would end up with or like who I would date, because I didn't really date people. Like my friends would always be like dating like other people, and then I would just be like the odd man out who's just not dating anyone at all. So it was always like a topic of debate. It's like, yo, man, Ethan time someone's gonna be so cool, it's gonna be so hype. So when they finally realized that I like someone, they jumped on that opportunity, like, yo, we gotta get this man that girl like ASAP. So it was actually a pretty respectable moment. But yeah, no, we had some on and offs, and you know, progress was actually being made. Like I got our Snapchat and everything. We would like talk, or at least I try and like make advances and whatnot. And everything was going sort of well until a certain lockdown happened, and we couldn't go outside because there was some spooky evil entity that was taking us all out. You know, 2020s, am I right? I still had her Snapchat though, so we kept talking, thinking everything was right with the world. Until one day, I got blocked. Just out of the blue, I just got blocked, and I was like, what? I was so confused, and I was also a bit concerned. It started to get to a point now where I wasn't just like reaching out because I liked her, but it's because she was somewhat of a friend, and I was concerned for her. So I reached out to other friends, and they all said that they got blocked too, and I was just like, shoot, what's wrong? Like I'm concerned. So me not taking the hint, I reached through her phone number, and yeah, she was like, hey, yeah, I just, I wanted to cut off some people. And I was like, I'm sorry I blocked you or whatnot. And I was like, okay, so everything seemed right as rain. I would like tell her about my day and we'd keep talking. And, she never told me anything wrong. Like, everything just seemed chill to me. She never told me that she was just uncomfortable with it all. And one day I got a text from a random person claiming to be her friend, and I actually recognized her name, so there was some validity to it, and told me to screw off, otherwise she was going to get parents involved. And I froze. This was the canon event to my overthinking. What did I do? What did I say? Was I too much? What was even happening? For the longest time, I just told myself that, I was being a creep, that I got rejected and had to move on. But during that period, I simply felt hurt. Like, I was the bad guy. Like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Like, I didn't want to hurt anyone in that process, and I was just so confused and overwhelmed. And the worst part was I couldn't really talk to anyone about it, because on a surface level, it just seemed like I got rejected and couldn't handle it and had to move on. And in some regards, they're kind of right, typical high school melodrama, yada yada. And eventually weeks go by, and that's all I could really think of. Like, what went wrong? What did I do? And oh man, a bunch of other bad stuff happened during that time, so I started to overthink even more. But the one thing I can remember was a person close to me who decided to slice and dice, which was very traumatizing to me. And I just had all these heavy, hard emotions, and I wanted to tell Ryan about it. And when I finally opened up as to like why I've been so angry, why I've been so distant, I read up all the not even before the whole Sam situation happened, but just in general, like I've been feeling so much stress from just everything. And I opened up to him, and do you want to know what he said? All of this sounds like you're just making excuses. Damn. Those words stick with me to this day, right as rain, crystal clear. Like, holy heck, man, you just nailed the coffin for me never wanting to open up to you ever again for stuff like this. You were supposed to be there for me, and you failed completely, and I'm just so disappointed. By that point, I locked in and went about never telling him anything that happened in my life unless it was like super serious, which actually did happen, but we're not there yet. So here's a life-changing story that happened when I was in college and Ryan never really found out about. When I was in my first year of college, there was a girl who I instantly fell in love with. Gosh, she was so pretty and tall. I love me tall girls. Or just a girl my height, which is just short, I guess. Like, I get it, I'm only 5'6", but this isn't about my height. This girl we'll call Mari. She was sweet, pretty, and kind, and was always helping me out when I needed it. She had a roommate who we'll call Rose. We were pretty close, but not anymore. Looking back on it, it all just kind of seems fake. And another girl we'll call Ella, who had multiple personality disorder. Okay, I know there's a lot of characters here, but you're gonna have to bear with me. I won't go into too much detail on all our relationships and what our dynamics were leading up to this, but just know that Rose was someone who I thought I could trust, and Ella was also someone who was pretty chill despite her multiple personality disorders. It was during Christmas break when I told Rose that I had a crush on Mari and that I liked her, but was too afraid to speak out on it. I wake up the literal next morning to find that Mari texted me saying that some random unknown account DM'd her saying I liked her. Wow. Okay. Talk about betrayal. But what made things even worse is apparently what Ella said to Mari. What did she say? I have to heavily phrase what I'm about to say, as this would easily get me demonetized. And I'm not that I'm concerned about monetization or anything, but I know younger people watch these little talks, and I'd like to filter myself to be at least somewhat like PG, because I would not want to say this to, like, because I know, like, my younger cousin like watches these podcasts and he seems to relate to them a lot. So I'm gonna try and phrase this in the best way possible. Ella told Mari while high off her rockers that not only did I like her, but that I wanted her to take off her gear and perform in a very fun and interesting way in front of me. Let's just say what she said was extremely disgusting and was a complete destruction of character for me. So not only was I betrayed by two people who I thought were chill, but I was made to be something I was not. Now, in her defense, she did acknowledge that none of this was really my fault, but the mental image of seeing me this way, like that, for weeks, yes, weeks, turns out it was happening weeks ago, before Rose betrayed me, and made it so that she could never see me the same way again. Wow! That's a plot twist right there. So she wasn't super mad, but just rather was just super disgusted by everything that went down. And to top it off, my roommate, who I formed a bit of a bond with, was leaving me to work some job and drop out of college. So I was betrayed twice. My roommate was leaving me. I was made out to be something that I wasn't, and I was just all alone. And yet, despite all that, I had to focus on my studies, as nothing scared me more than the idea of going back to my old life. Let me tell you, I don't think I've ever felt more depressed in my entire life. And did I tell Ryan that? Nope. Nah. What's the point in going to someone who won't acknowledge your pain, who's let you down so many times before? To him, it probably just sounds like petty relationship dramas and to just focus on your schools. It's not like I was hurt or abused or, anything crazy. I wasn't. It was mostly just mental damage, but, it is what it is. But, it was a growing experience for me. It was a character development, it was a character moment for me to actually grow up, mature, and be independent. And let me tell you something, I actually walked out pretty well on top. I did some, inner exploring, looked deep within myself, and was able to make things better. I found friends. I actually made amends with Mari by the end of the semester, and we went off on our own separate paths, which was honestly pretty nice. And I feel like I walked out a better person because of all of what I went through. Now, yeah, coming back to Ryan, I get it. I have painted him in a pretty bad light, and you're probably wondering why I've kept Ryan around for so long, and that's mainly because, yeah, Ryan is an alias for someone close in my life. Like I mentioned at the start of the video. Interpret it how you will, right? And I'll give credit where credit is due. Ryan was there for me during one of my most traumatic experiences. And I guess without sugarcoating it, it's when my friend almost killed herself. Like, if I wasn't there in that exact moment, she wouldn't be here with us right now. And that idea just scared the living daylights out of me. Like, I was a complete mess. And I still went to school the next day thinking everything was going to be sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. But no, I was sobbing. Like, my friend was holding on to me because I was so mentally distraught. I don't think I've cried that much in like a long time, because just the idea of thinking that if I wasn't there in that exact moment, and she wouldn't be here right now. I really think that is the closest I have ever danced with death. Like that experience definitely changed something inside of me. And it doesn't make things better when the person I mentioned who sliced and diced, they still were doing slice and dicing. And so I had to live for years just wondering if that person was gonna off themselves. So now with this friend who almost did, I was just taking many shots back and forth when it came to this. And it was just oh my god, it was such a nightmare experience for me. So yeah, I told Ryan what happened, as I did somewhat promise that I'd go to him for something super serious if it ever did happen. And yeah, he was there. He picked me up and we got through it together. And it was kind of nice. But one good memory doesn't undo his negligence. He's not the man I wanted him to be in the moments I needed him. But as I grew older, I kind of began to accept that he doesn't have to be that person. And I can't force that on him. It doesn't matter what label he has as a figure in my life. I don't feel comfortable going to him for anything anymore. That's on him. What, I'm supposed to force my, what's going on in my life onto him because of his status in my life? No, screw that. I feel so uncomfortable going to him for anything. And it's just, I'm tired of pretending I have to do that I have to open up to him. I have friends. I got counselors that can help me, that work through my problems. I'm not some helpless child. Okay, I get it. I'm childish, but I'm not immature. I have a whole life ahead of me that I'm trying to build, and I'm taking all the right steps. I'm not going to parties, drinking, and doing drugs, and getting hooked up with the wrong people. No, I got a good friend group going around. I got stability in my life. I'm able to not live paycheck to paycheck. I can afford the things that I want. I'm stingy with my money, bro. I'm trying to save. I'm trying to invest. I'm trying to build the future that I want to live. I'm living it right now, for crying out loud. So why should I have to indulge in such toxicity when I have the freedom right now to just do as I please? Oh my god. I will no longer be invalidated for simply having feelings. Excuse me for not having the 50 plus years of experience you have. And I think that's something people my age can relate to, especially if you're Asian, lol. Where you're given these unrealistic expectations and are forced down your throat, and you kind of just have to take it in order to survive. And on one hand, yeah, I'm kind of glad that I played by the rules and followed the book, because now I'm a free man and I can do what I want within reason. And yeah, it turned out great. I work a professional job that I really enjoy and can make my art projects without not needing to feel the insane levels of pressure and deadlines. So yeah, in one way, things worked out physically, and within the present times, things are actually really good. But mentally, I got issues. A lot of issues. Unprocessed trauma that needs healing from years of built-in habits that I developed just to survive, to finally become me. I know some people aren't strong enough to do what I did. They yell and scream at their parents to get them to understand, but in my experience, that just leads to more chaos. I honestly kind of took the dark approach where I simply kiss-assed just so I could get by, just listening to what I was told. But in reality, most of the stuff was just in one ear, out the other. I told them what they wanted to hear. I agreed to everything that they wanted, just so I can use them to finally get out. And now I have power. Now I'm free. And yeah, call me selfish, call me ungrateful, but honestly, I kind of stopped giving a damn after a while. Nothing was getting better, despite how hard I tried, so I just had to remove myself from the equation. If y'all want to keep labeling me as the problem by calling me angry and ungrateful, then by all means, I'll happily oblige and leave. I knew a person who had so much pride, and whenever a conversation didn't go his way, he would shut up and sarcastically agree and then walk away. And I never understood why he did that, and it always came off as cowardly and immature. And while I deeply hated this man, I can finally see where he's coming from now. When conversations just aren't worth having as the other party won't cooperate. It's just like you're fighting an uphill battle. I thought, like, why are you gonna try and waste your energy into somebody who won't even see your side? So it's like, yeah, in a weird twisted sense of fate, I actually understand where that guy's coming from now. I think the big takeaway in everything that I've said today is that you're not invalid for having the experiences you do. Sure, some people may be over dramatic, but it's how you walk out of a situation that makes a difference between mentally shut out or accepting of the circumstances. You aren't your parents. You haven't lived their lives. They don't know everything you've gone through. I mean, times are hella tough right now. The loneliness epidemic is a real thing, despite how connected we all are through social media, which is another gateway drug into feeling inadequate. AI is stealing all of our resources and opportunity to work. I mean, heck, the job market itself is just pure insanity at the moment. We survived a literal lockdown that socially isolated all of us. We're dealing with insane levels of greed from massive billion-dollar corporations. Most of us will probably never be able to own a home, forever renting. Like, yeah, we may have not gone through what our parents went through, but that doesn't mean life is all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows for us. Life is pretty hard. It's funny, because I've always pictured scenarios in my head of wanting a kid one day, and the lessons I'd want to instill into them is to not be the best of the best, but to be the best versions you can be. Let them grow into a person and discover themselves while trying to put them on the right path. And that I'll be there to listen to the petty school drama and whatever bothers them and try to offer both reassurance and a level-headed solution. I want to break the cycle. I'm not going to tolerate people who just see my issues as nothing and tell me I'm perfectly fine. I'm not. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel the way I do. And it's not like I'm a whiny little baby that's saying, oh, woe is me, like, my life is so terrible and everything is awful. Like, no, I'm actively making steps to try and change my situation to be better. Because I don't want to live feeling like I'm nothing. I don't want to live feeling like I'm this pathetic, helpless person who can't make a difference. Like, yeah, okay, I like being taken care of, right? I like being spoiled and whatnot. I like the attention. I like it when people make decisions for me. But I'm not that useless. I'm not that pathetic. Like, when push comes to shove, I'll do it. And I have the proof in the pudding, right? Like, I've literally done the steps that I could. I'm disciplined in a sense where, you know, sure, I can't resist a good donut or two when they bring it into work. But, like, I show up every day. I do my work. I do my job. I keep my room clean. Like, I'm always making sure I check up on friends. Like, I'm organized in a way. And it's funny because I was actually having an inner dialogue with myself about this, where it's like, I know exactly what I want in life. I know where I want to be in the future. So I'm not indecisive in that regard. But if I'm in a food court and I'm like, I can't pick between sushi or Bourbon Say Grill, I just want to look at my girlfriend and be like, hey, pick something for me. I can't decide. I just want that feeling where I'm like, I can't pick between they're both good options. I don't know which one I want in the moment, and then just be like, you want this one? I'm like, I want that one, and then we just go. Oh man, yeah, no, I was like, I don't know. I guess when I say, like, I guess I really should emphasize that, you know, you are allowed to have problems, but, like, don't make those problems your entire identity, because I know some people will just, like, want to roll over and cry saying, oh my god, I got hurt, and oh my god, I'm so sad. And it's like, okay, there's a quote that I like, actually, where it's like, okay, I don't blame you for what happened, but if I come back and you're still on the floor a week later or a month later, that's on you. Yeah, I'm still hurt. Yeah, I'm still in pain months later after the event happened, but I have been making progress. I've been making actual steps to get better. Sure, I still have the voices in my head that are arguing. Sure, I am depressed some days. I have mood swings, but I can look back and see, hey, you know what? I've been making a lot of good steps. I've been making a lot of great independent steps. I got my eyes checked. I did an eye exam and I upgraded my glasses. I can see better now. I went to the dentist. I was horrified of it, but it actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, actually. I think being in gymnastics has taught me a lot about pain tolerance. And what is that one quote from Kratos? pain, what is it? Pain we endure, faulty equipment we do not. Yeah, I can endure pain. It's just I don't like being uncomfortable. So I'm just like kind of fighting the pain. It's like the dentist is like, clean out my teeth and whatnot. And I checked, like, oh, I was bleeding. That wasn't that bad. I'm fine. But you get the point, right? I don't turn my pain into my only identity. I wanna use my pain and give life lessons to the younger people in my life, because I know a lot of people look up to me, and I don't want to say I'm the greatest role model, because I too am a mess. Like I mentioned in the last video, I'm a hypocrite. I'm a do as I say, not as I do kind of guy, right? Because I'm not perfect, and I don't think anyone is. I hold myself to such a high standard that it mentally drains me. And so I'm just hoping that the life lessons that I can give are ones that people can walk away with that are better. So yeah, I'm circling back to the same point over and over again. You are valid for how you feel. Just don't make it your whole identity, because that's when you get like crybabies and people who just complain about everything and they're not doing anything about the situation. And it's like, growth isn't linear. It's a roller coaster. It's funny because through this revelation of thinking, I can see the analogy of like a man crying in a homeless shelter versus a man crying in a Bugatti. Yeah, I can see that in a different light now, as like some people would kill to be in my position of life. Like I'm so sad, I'm depressed, but I'm like, oh my god, why are you so depressed? You have a great job and everything, and you got a girlfriend, and oh, you got such great friends, and you got an amazing personality, and you got the looks, the skill, and it's just like, okay, yeah, you see what's on the surface, but you don't see the internal conflicts within me, the stuff that I had to go through as a person. And I don't think you would even be able to handle it. Do you have any idea how much of a social butterfly I am? Do you know how many people I talk to on the daily? I bet you don't talk to anyone, because most people are introverted. Like, I am such an extrovert, I light up a whole room. Like, everybody knows who I am. I don't think you would be able to handle the social pressure of just being me. I'm sorry, that's a rare thing to do. I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal here, but like, this is coming back to the whole thing where it's like, oh, you see a rich man crying in a Bugatti, and it's like, oh my god, wow, woe is him, that's so pathetic. But it's like, what if he just like lost his kid or something, or like he got put in like a divorce, or he got like diagnosed with cancer or something, or it's just like something really bad is just going on in his life, and like maybe he's like a really good person, and he made his money ethically and whatnot. But that's besides the point. Actually, no, that is the point, because it's like we see surface level value, but we don't really see what's in. And I guess another analogy you can use is, some men die of thirst while others drowned. On a surface level, I seem like I have everything put together, yet I'm not internally. Like, whether it be because I have insecurities or a bit of low self-esteem sometimes, that I had to cut off important people in my life due to their toxicity, that I feel lonely and isolated most days despite having connections. It just feels like such a weird dilemma when it comes to empathy. And I think about it a lot, and it's such a weird balance to strike, because it's like, on the one hand, oh, I don't feel bad for this person because their life is so much better than mine. But on the other hand, it's just like, you could probably look at, like some people can probably look into their lives and be like, oh yeah, well, I bet one person looks at me that way and just be like, yo, I wish I could be in that position, right? Like, I feel like the biggest, like, is catch-22 the right word for this? But like, or maybe trump card, like the ultimate play that parents use is like, oh my god, your life is so much better, you're not living out on the streets, you're not homeless, and that makes your problems feel invalid. And I think a lot of us are so sick and tired of hearing that our lives are so much better, and that just means we're not allowed to have problems, period. Like, yes, your lives probably are better than like a lot of people. Like, a lot of people are like they're living like paycheck to paycheck, or they're homeless, or they're struggling. But then you get compared to, like, you're getting compared to the literal bottom of the barrel. Like, do we understand how big of a stretch that is? Like, I have suffered from trying to keep myself together and not talk about my feelings because they just never seemed like a problem to me. And now that's starting to leach into my adult life, where I was like, okay, now I got all these problems, I got all these insecurities, and it's like, great. Now I'm trying to work on those to be better because I do not want to do woe is me. I feel like I've said that a lot in this video, but you kind of get where I'm going at when I'm talking about this. So, like, I think overall, you are valid in the way you feel, and that you shouldn't let anyone tell you otherwise. Unless, like, you lost your favorite choo-choo train and that's your motivation to become a maniacal dictator or something like that. I think the right approach in situations like these is just understanding that you're allowed to feel the way you feel. Just try not to let it dictate every action you make. You can heal from this stuff, but it will take time. And take your own time. I had a conversation with someone a while back on how he was hurt that he made these big changes in his life and wants to show it to others, but no one will acknowledge it. And that's because change takes a long time. And some people are just not obligated to accept the new you. And honestly, it does kind of come off as somewhat performative when you only change just to get the validation that you changed rather than because it's something you wanted to do. Now, there's nothing wrong in wanting to change for loved ones, but you need to be okay with the idea that sometimes they won't accept you and you need to choose to walk away. It's the same with people who won't listen to you and make you feel heard. The first time, okay, maybe you're a bit overdramatic. The second time, okay, maybe you could have phrased it better. And the third time, okay, what are we doing here? It's not wrong to want to change, but you have to be able to change for yourself. Because, I mean, yeah, I want to make changes in my life. I want to change and be a better person. But deep down, I want them to change. Because it's the same song and dance over and over again, and I'm tired of it. Like, I can't keep doing this, otherwise it's going to cost me my own mental health. And I want to start taking that a lot more seriously, especially given, June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I feel like making these videos, like, I remember the last video I made on this got a lot of good reception, actually. Like, I had friends DMing me saying how much this connected with them, it was super nice to just kind of have this playing in the background and just kind of listen to what I was saying. And it's like, yeah, I want to be able to do that. I've been watching a lot of videos recently where it's literally just a person sitting in front of the camera talking, and then I just kind of like, I either have it playing at night or when I'm working, and it's kind of been therapeutic just kind of have that level of authenticity where you're listening to some random person yap about their life problems, and then you can be like, yo, he's like me for real. And that's kind of how I felt with the whole concept of just being, valid in your feelings and trying to strike that middle balance between, okay, yeah, you're definitely not overreacting, and okay, bro, listen, it is a single piece of candy. I will buy you another piece of candy, okay? Just stop throwing a fit, man. You don't gotta overreact with it. It is not that deep, bro. And that's such a weird balance to strike, right? Where you're just trying so hard to like find that middle ground between, hey, you're valid, and also, dude, shut up, quit complaining. But yeah, I ran out of script actually, so now I'm just kind of rambling. I like writing scripts because that just helps me a lot. But sometimes I kind of enter that flow state where I just kind of start talking about the most nonsensical stuff, like as I'm doing right now. God, it's kind of crazy when I think about it. Like, just everything that I've had to go through, like, the last couple of months has just been, like, insane. It's been amazing. Like, I'm making all these, like, big changes in my life, taking steps to just grow my own independence. And it's been a journey. I think the next video I want to make is insecurities, or, like, the voices in my head. Like, there's a couple more videos that I want to make in regards to these topics. I think insecurities is definitely a really big one for me, because especially like with the girl that I'm dating right now, like, oh my god, so pretty. It makes me come off as like, I'm chopped, bro. Like, how does a baddie like her like me so? I'm insecure as crap, man. I don't know. It's a whole topic, but insecurities, I think that might be the next topic, because I feel like I could also go off on like a whole like rant. I want to keep these videos like nice and long, like at least like 30 minutes plus, maybe 40 minutes pushing it, like, because I feel like a lot of people just kind of like listening to these in the background, and I mean, you know what? Maybe if I get enough of these videos, I can like make a video compilation of these, and then people just have like 2 hour plus video montages of Ethan's little talk, just kind of like yapping, and then they can listen to them while they're asleep, and then when they're sleeping, I should be like, "Boo!" And, and just be like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" And it's like, "Ha, you fell asleep, little bro. You gotta pay attention. You really think this is the sleeping chat? Nuh-uh." But yeah, there's just man, there's so much that I want to talk about. I think, cause I don't want every single video to be like dark and depressing. Like I do want to talk about some other stuff, but at the same time, I feel like the real tone that I give here, rather than just like talking about video games and stuff, it just makes things so much more interpersonal and connected. Like, yeah, I can talk about video games and my passions on Ethan Mastercraft, and here I can just talk about my life and stories that I like to pass down. And honestly, there's just so much that I can do. It's honestly insane. But I think I pretty much like said everything I wanted to say about, and being invalid. Make sure you have a good support circle. Make sure that you have people who will actually listen to you, who won't just shoot you down. But also don't be a whiny little crap and complain about like every single little thing. Like, you're allowed to complain, but if you're gonna complain, like, do something about it. Make changes that will actually benefit your life rather than just woe is me. I think that pretty much is like the what's the right term? The pin of the crop. The creme de la creme. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. Even though even though I can't like understand that point myself, because yeah, I'm a hypocrite. Do as I say, not as I do. It's hard, but I hope through talking through all this, you can finally accept some things within yourself. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on being invalidated. I'm curious to know if anyone else shares the same sentiment. And with that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Ciao.